Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday. And I hope you guys have had a good Monday and the weekend was good as well. It's Phil here, obviously, from Wings of Pegasus. And thank you for joining me tonight. All of you guys in that very early bird crew tonight. I did start getting things set up at about 10 past 11 and I saw a few people in there, so hello to you guys. Let me get you guys up on screen so we can see who is in the house tonight. And we have Myra and Stephen there, Samantha, Constantia, Jeannie, Nilita, Beverly, Lynn, moderating Paul, Jennifer again, Karen, Susie, Jason, Lisa, Beth, Patrick, again, Selena, and Paul in there. Kathy, hello. Thank you for joining me tonight, everybody in that live chat room. As always, let me get the names of my patrons up on screen because they make this all possible in the first place. Thank you guys so much for your support. You know who you are, and their names always go across the bottom of the screen during these live streams. They allow these live streams to happen and everything that I do on the channel to happen as well, with the analysis videos and the cover videos and everything like that. So as you come through the door, if you could leave a thumbs up, that would be great, because tonight I think we are aiming for 270. Let me get the live likes up on screen and see what the goal is. It is 270. So keep on hitting that thumbs up. We're at 108 already, 109. So if we can have a little spike of the likes, that would be great. And I know that there have been a couple of donations in the super chat window before we went live, and they do disappear when we go live, so let me just grab those to see that Orlando donated $2. Thank you for that, Orlando, as always. Orlando says spike the likes, people, with lots of thumbs up. And let's have a plug of the mug. It's our ritual when Orlando donates to give a nice plug of the mug, especially on a Tuesday because it's the Spike the Likes mug. And if you want to get a mug or anything, or a tumbler, a t-shirt, a hoodie, all of the stuff that I've basically got on, you can head to the tray underneath this video. And you can also go to the link in the description below, which is the spring.com store. So I think this chair that I'm sitting on, maybe you can hear it, maybe you can't, but it's very creaky, and I think it's getting creakier with every single video that I do, because I think it needs a little bit of a tighten. But anyway, hopefully, because it's just put together with nuts and bolts, and sometimes they get a little bit loose, and if I fall over and the chair collapses, then you know exactly what's happened. I need to tighten things up a little bit. Anyway, we will persevere and work our way through it. So the poll for tonight's songs, for the cover songs, there were a lot of requests over on Patreon, so thank you guys for those. And there's quite a mix of cover songs, so I've just picked a couple that I thought we haven't heard in a little while. And I know that we had a suggestion for Don't Slow Down by Mr. Mister, so there was another one for Broken Wings tonight. So it's Broken Wings or Don't Stop Believin by Journey. That's what we're going to be voting for tonight. And looking over in that section, we have got 61% for Don't Stop Believin at the moment. And we had a bit of an epic battle last Saturday to try and get the cover. That was like 50-50 for ages. So it looks like Don't Stop Believin is ahead at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that, but click on that poll to vote for whichever cover you want to hear tonight, and I will play that a little bit later on. So the big news in England today is that our football team managed to beat Germany in the European Cup, and that's the European Championship, technically Euro 2020, even though it's a year late, but they're still calling it 2020 because it should have been on last year. Anyway, it's the first time that we've beaten Germany in the competition, or in any competition, in the final stages of a competition, for a lot of years. I'm not even going to work out how long it was. It was since 1966. So you can imagine how happy everybody is in England at the moment, because we always lose to Germany. Whenever we play them in a competition, We always lose to them. I think we beat them in a friendly quite a few years ago. But yeah, they're like our bogey team. But we managed to beat them today 2-0, which means England are now in the quarterfinals of the Euro 2020 competition, which is excellent. And that's soccer, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, the next game is on Saturday, so I will be watching that as well. I watched the game today. It was a little bit earlier today. It was 5 p.m. kickoff, so it was quite good. Sat down, watched it, and we won, which was unbelievable. So we'll see how far England get, but it's rare for us to just be happy about the football and the national team, because we're always losing, and historically we've always lost, whereas we have won, which is fantastic. So, everything's going well here in the UK. I say the UK, technically that includes Wales and Scotland, who are also in the competition, but they are out of the competition, so it's not as good for them. But yeah, very good for England. But anyway, thank you, Orlando, for that early donation. And just to address the other donation before we went live was from Ginny for $10. Thank you for that, Ginny. And the message is, hi, Phil. If you could visit any rock star's memorial, whose would it be? What is the craziest anyone ever asked you? Take care. So thank you for that, Ginny. And you can probably tell that I'm gonna say Jimi Hendrix. I'd probably go to his memorial. And I'm not sure what the craziest is. I don't know how you quantify how crazy something is. But I know that Jimmy's memorial is very grand, and it's almost like, well, it's not really like a mini Stonehenge, but it's like lots of stones, and yeah, it looks very fancy. And yeah, I think it'll be an excuse to go over to the USA. I think it's in Washington, so I would go over there just to have a look at Jimi Hendrix's memorial if I had to choose one. But I think you guys already know that most of my answers for guitarists that I would have liked to have played with, would like to have seen live, my main influence, or going to see memorial, is always pretty much Jimi Hendrix. So yeah, that's my answer for that. Thank you, Ginny, for that donation. And also Mike has donated $100 in the super chat window, so thank you so much for that, Mike. And the message is, hi Phil, I'd like to request for Hero and dedicate it to Oreo, the Mexican Marine with superpowers. She can find anything and is the cutest puppy ever. Her eye looks like the cookie. She is presently finding victims of the Surfside building collapse. So thank you for that, Mike. And this is something that I very briefly saw on the news. We haven't had a lot of coverage here, but it did pop up right at the end of when I just changed the channel on the TV, and they were saying about this building collapse that just looks crazy. It looked like almost half the building had just fallen off, and they were saying about it being a massive search effort, but also the fact that it had been raining, which they say, or they said in this report, that might be a good thing, because if any people are trapped in there, they might have access to a little bit of water because of it dripping down, which means they might be able to survive for longer. But yeah, it looks like a tragic accident or situation, or I'm sure there'll be an investigation as to how that's happened. I don't know the story behind it, so I don't know whether it collapsed by itself or whether there was a tremor or an earthquake or something. I don't know. But I also don't know about Oreo, the Marine who has superpowers. But thank you, Mike, so much for that donation. And let me just get the PayPal donations window up on screen as well, because I know that there has been one or two coming through on there. And I will put the donations tab up there just to show the percentages of YouTube. The super chat that takes 35 to 45% goes to YouTube, and the PayPal 3 to 5% goes to PayPal. So obviously it's a little bit better on PayPal. But thank you, Mike, for that donation, and also Jeannie for this $5 donation in the super chat window as well. And the message is, for your squeaky chair, but don't worry, the background music covers it, with a smiley face, rock with some rock horns, a guitar, musical notation, a football. I think that's what we've got pretty much in there. So thank you, Jeannie, for that. And I think the backing music has now stopped. So I don't know, if I just don't move as much, it won't squeak. So it'll be fine. And as soon as I say that, I move around and it squeaks. But maybe only I can hear it, so I should just keep quiet and pretend it's all fine. So anyway, thank you for those very early donations. And I am just going to pop over to the PayPal window as well, just to address the donation that has come in there. And this is from Steve. So thank you for this, Steve. And let me get you guys seeing this as well up on the screen. And it's for £5. Thank you, Steve, for that. I'm just going to scroll down because the message is, what are your feelings about modern computerized effects versus old school wah-wahs, reverbs, phase shifters, etc.? So thank you for that, Steve. And it kind of depends. I think that a lot of the modeling nowadays is pretty good in terms of the way that they can simulate the old school analog type effects, but then turn them into digital effects. And also you've got the amp modelers that you can get as well, which are really accurate, and a lot of people just go. I mean, this is something that Buck Dharma used on the latest Blue Oyster Cult album. He used an amp modeling system, and that's what he went to. Obviously, if you've got a guy like Buck who is using models of the amps rather than the amps themselves, then it's got to be good, and it definitely is good. Like I said, nowadays they can get them so close to that original sound, and obviously having lots and lots of different amps and configurations. Also, miking positions, you can pretty much program anything into the sound that you want. You can choose the head, the cab, the mic position that you want, how far away, and then you can start to put the post-processing effects on there, or you can put the effects in the loop if you want to, such as reverb and delay. And that's something that Buck did, where he was explaining about, when we did the interview on the channel, about where he placed the effects just in that effects chain. So you can check out that interview if you want to. It's on the channel here somewhere, myself talking to Buck Dharma. But in terms of the effects, I think it's really close at the moment, and it's going to be improving all the time. So for me, I preferred, when I was playing live, to do away with carrying lots of different pedals and having the whole effects loop going on, and having lots of effects and an effects board, effectively, like distortions and phasers and delays and reverbs, and having to trigger them all off independently. I then had an idea of, I was looking for a guitar amp that would do it all for me, in terms of keeping all of the effects in the guitar amp, and then I could trigger it just with a simple pedal board system. And that's exactly what I went for, the Spider 3 HD 150 by Line 6, because it meant that now I just had to carry around my small pedal board that would just allow me to go between the banks that were stored in the head of my amp. So when you're gigging a lot, and certainly for me, just the ease of transporting everything was something that was a huge part of it. Just took the headache out of, or at least a little bit more of the headache out of, transporting all of your gear to each and every gig and trying to fit it all in your car. So yeah, just having a small pedal board and having it all triggered in the head of the amp is what I went for. And obviously the effects in the head of the amp were good enough for me to be able to use live. If they weren't, I wouldn't have done it that way anyway. So I think I don't mind computerized effects in terms of reverbs, delays, phasers, chorus. That's pretty much what I tend to use, just my go-tos for my clean channel, with a little bit of chorus on there. Reverb, obviously, more of a delay for my lead tones. But talking about computerized effects, auto-tune is something that I'm not really that into, because I think that as an effect just gives the whole voice, obviously it's used mostly on voices, it just gives every vocal a similar sound, regardless of who's singing it. It just starts to sound computerized, and I'm not a big fan of that because I like to hear the expression in each singer's voice, and a lot of the expression is just being ever so slightly flat or ever so slightly sharp of the note, and that's what I like about listening to different vocalists. And yeah, autotune's not something that I'm into. But in terms of guitar effects, auto wah, I don't really use auto wah. I would tend to just use a wah wah pedal so that I've got control of the expression, exactly where I want that wah wah effect to come into. And also you can position your wah wah in a particular point. If you want to accentuate the top end or the mids or the low end, you can do that with your wah wah pedal. So you can pretty much change your tone on the fly. So I think that's probably why I lean towards using a wah wah pedal. And that is still part of my pedal board for my HD 150. Just having the pedal on there that obviously, you apply the pressure on the front of it as you do with all wah-wah pedals, and it clicks it in, and then you're now in wah-wah. But it's also got the volume control on there as well, so you can use it to fade in and fade out. So that's what I use. Anyway, thank you, Steve, for that. It's the kind of thing that I could talk about all year, but I have to try and keep these answers relatively concise on the live streams. I'll just be talking about effects and live setups and all that kind of stuff, and the pros and the cons. But anyway, thank you for that, Steve. And we've had another donation from Mike, who has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Mike, again. And the message is it possible to run a line 4 direct input to cell phone video enthusiasts from your pedal, or from your pedal board? So thank you for that, Mike. And I'm just going to have to try and figure out what you mean by the question. So a line in for direct input to cell phone video enthusiasts. So maybe, from your pedal board. Okay, so my pedal board goes straight into the head of my amp, and it's an Ethernet connection, so that definitely wouldn't be possible. I'm sure maybe there's a way for you to, probably more likely what you're going to be doing is, rather than selecting an effect from your pedal board and getting that into a phone, like an iPhone or an Android device, more likely what you're going to have to do is download an app where you've got the effects in the app, and then you choose the app on your phone. And maybe if you can take the output from your guitar, and there's got to be a connection that can change I know there is a connection that can change a jack into a headphone jack, so that you can then put that into your phone, and then your phone will recognize that as a mic input, so it will hear your guitar going in there. So that will be your guitar input. You'd then download an app so that the guitar input goes into the phone. You select what you want to have on your guitar in terms of effects, such as a distortion, stomp box. So you'd press on that, maybe select a reverb as well, and then that should come through as a final effect or post effect through the speakers of your phone. Theoretically, I mean, I've never done it, but I assume that's how it would work. If you want to get your guitar going into the phone, you probably have to have the app on your phone first, rather than going into your effects first and then into your phone. But I mean, theoretically, if you're coming out of your output of your effects board and you've got a jack out, like just a mono jack out, then you could do that into your phone using that same connection that I just mentioned, just the converter into your phone. There's got to be apps that, I know that there are apps that do record. I've got like a little voice recorder on my phone. So theoretically, if you've got an out on your effects board and your pedals, then you can go out of your effects, get the converter into the headphone of your through the headphone of your phone, put it in there, and then the recording unit on your phone should recognize that as a mic input. At least it does on my phone when I use a lapel mic, for example. If I'm doing a video and I want to get another recording of my voice, then I'd use a lapel mic and record it on my phone. So that is something that you could do, and it should work on tablet as well. If you've got an iPad or an Android tablet, then I also have done that before, used a lapel mic, gone into the tablet and recorded that as a separate audio file, and then imported that into video editing in order to get a crisp sound to the vocal when I'm not in front of this mic. Obviously, this is a condenser mic, so it's very good for picking up my voice in these videos. But anyway, thank you, Mike, for that. Another technical question, but like I said, I've never done it, but it should be possible. So, moving on, we're at 25 minutes past midnight here in the UK, and we're at 163 likes already. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. If you can hit that thumbs up, it will be much appreciated, because it allows these live streams to get out there, but also for the channel to grow as a whole. And as I said in the last live stream, we passed 177,000 subscribers. So thank you everyone for hitting that subscribe button, hitting that notification bell as well to make sure that you never miss a video. If you want to support the channel from just a grassroots and a foundational perspective, then you can head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, because this is where all the names from the live streams on the bottom of the screen, that's where they come from. They make everything possible. So thank you guys so much for that. And let me just remove that off the screen. So thank you, Steve, for that donation as well previously. And I'm just going to scroll up as well, because there has been a donation that's coming from Deborah, so thank you for that. And the message is, let me just see, I'm going to have to just change a setting on my screen so that I can actually see the message at the same time as you're seeing the message. Hopefully you guys can see it on screen. But the message is, Phil, I reviewed your excellent videos on Four Seasons. One of my favourite bands, Frankie Valli, just dropped a new album, A Touch of Jazz, and will soon be touring and performing live again at the tender age of 87. So thank you for that, Deborah. And yeah, I saw something from Frankie, I think during the lockdown he was recording a cover or two, and yeah, it's amazing. He was singing with other artists as well. That, yeah, he's 87 years young and still got that passion for performing and singing and getting out there. So yeah, he's definitely one of a kind, Frankie Valli. And I do have I think a couple of videos where you can see Frankie, so make sure you check those out if you get a chance on the channel. You can check those out independently. Just type in Frankie Valli and British Guitarist analysis, and they'll probably pop up in the search results. But thank you for that, Deborah, and I'm just going to have to try and figure out a way for myself to see. I don't know why it's not allowing me to see the comments in the PayPal donations. I can read them out, but I just want to make sure that you guys can see them on screen as well. But thank you for that, Deborah. And Beth has donated £34.57. Thank you for that, Beth. And the message is, hello, Phil, wingers, and welcome to first timers. Really missed you all of you this weekend, but had a fantastic time seeing a favourite comedian of mine. Great to be back. Phil, what inspired Percy Johnson? Thank you, with a smiley face, a heart, and some rock horns. So thank you for that, Beth. And I just wanted to do a song that was a little bit more like a movie kind of script, I guess, or something that you might see in a movie. It wasn't really a James Bond kind of thing, but I just thought of a story of a guy's family getting kidnapped and then holding them to ransom and all that kind of stuff. So there wasn't really anything that inspired me. I guess films that I've seen in the past must have inspired it to have that kind of idea, or wanting to do a song like that. But yeah, there wasn't anything specific that I suddenly thought, oh, I'm going to do this song and write it. And it probably took a little while to get together. It wasn't one of those songs that came along instantly. I had the riff, and then pretty much the verse was okay. The middle eight took a little bit of time to get down, and I got it down all guitars first, so then I didn't have any melody really or lyrical content, and that's when I decided that I wanted to have a song along those lines lyrically, and then worked out the melody to it, and then it all started to coming together, if that makes sense, or all started to come together when I started putting the melody to it, and then just trying to get the lyrics to fit the melody, because that's how I pretty much write the songs. Is I make noises and like just oohs and ahs, trying to get general ideas of the melody and the cadence of the wording, how I want it to come across, and the accents, and not in terms of speaking accents, but in terms of the beats and the accents that I want to have that maybe sit between the rhythm of the guitar and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that came along a little bit later, but it was all done with guitar first. So thank you for that, Beth. And let me just scroll up to the top there, because we've had another donation in the super chat window. So thank you for that. And it is Bod who has donated £5. And the message is, Kane or Rashford, who would be better on guitar? I do not know. I'd probably say they'd be quite even, because I think Rashford is about 6'1". Kane might be about 6'2". He's around the same ballpark in terms of height, which means generally they'll have a slightly larger hand, which is good for guitar. So I think they'd both be equally good. But even if you've got small hands, there's nothing to stop you being very good at playing the guitar. You can just work your way around to your playing and just play your own way. But yeah, I would say I do not know if they play guitar or whether one's better than the other. I know that Harry Kane plays golf. I don't know how good he is at golf, but generally footballers tend to be quite good at golf because they have a lot of time off. They train in the morning and then they think, what do we do with the rest of the day? And a lot of them go out and play golf in the afternoon. So yeah, they get very good at that. And I know that Gareth Bale also plays golf quite a lot. But anyway, thank you, Bod, for that. And Patrick has donated $5. Thank you for that, Patrick. And the message is, Hola, Phil. Hope you are well. Is Asia an overrated or underrated band? It's a good question. And pretty much with the overrated, underrated, it all depends about whether you know them or not. I'd say that because I'm into the whole 80s sound and hard rock and classic rock and pop rock as well, melodic hard rock, I mean, those are all kind of terms that you could associate with Asia as being melodic. So yeah, I would tend to say that I think they're probably not as well known as they could be. I know them well, obviously, because I'm into that kind of music. But in terms of thinking about the general population who might know bands like Bon Jovi, I don't know, maybe Guns N' Roses, even though they're slightly harder rock, I mean, you could say that they had a bit more of an edge to them. But Asia certainly is one of those bands that you'd sit in there in terms of the sound, but also having that accessibility of being in the mainstream. Like I said, that more melodic content, maybe pop rock and a little bit of melodic hard rock, like I said, which is definitely where I tend to lean towards more than getting into the heavier genres, such as kind of heavy metal. But yeah, even though, you know, heavy metal, some people that describe heavy metal nowadays, it would be classed as hard rock back in the 80s, but now they see it as a lot heavier. You know, bands like Iron Maiden, Metallica, those kind of bands. So they kind of transitioned into heavy metal and metal, even though in the 80s you might call it 80s metal, which tended to have a lot more of a lighter side to it with a lead vocal and harmony vocals in there, for example, whereas nowadays heavy metal can even be classified or classed as having a screaming vocal or screamo vocal, which I think a lot of people class as a lot heavier, especially if you're used to listening to 80s metal. You wouldn't really class that. You'd class that a lot heavier than heavy metal. But anyway, thank you for that donation. And from me, I would say that they're not as well known, even though I know that they are one of those bands that have had hits that have made it into the mainstream, and there are a lot of bands who haven't had those hits that were great bands that didn't cross over into the mainstream charts and have that crossover success. And I think Asia, not that they had a load of hits that did make that crossover on a grand scale, but they did at least get there in part. So I'd say that I don't think are underrated. I think if you've listened to them, you know that they are just a top band. So thank you, Patrick, for that. And I'm just going to jump into the PayPal window because I can see that something's happened over there. So thank you for this, Linda, who has donated £20 and 74 pence. And the message is congrats on England. Oh, congrats to England on winning over Germany. So thank you for that. Let me just scroll to make sure that it's on your screens. And yes, I mentioned this at the beginning of the live stream. Everybody's very happy here in the UK. Yes, it's taken a very long time to beat Germany, but we got there in the end, and they always beat us on penalty kicks, because usually we just draw, and then we get to penalties, and then we lose on penalties, and it's the same story over and over and over again, but today we actually beat them in the normal time. We didn't even go to penalties, which is rare as well. So thank you, Linda, for that donation. And we are at 183 likes so far. So if you can keep on hitting that thumbs up, it'd be much appreciated. It's 25 to midnight here in the UK. Let's have a little look at the poll that we've got going tonight. And Don't Stop Believin is ahead. It's got 59% of the vote. So make sure you hit that thumbs up for the overall live stream to get ourselves for a pick roulette next week, which, by the way, we are going to be having tonight. So stay tuned for the pick roulette. And if you did type I agree last week, your name will be on that wheel. And I can see that Carla is about to go through just saying do not list I agree. So don't type I agree yet. You have to wait till the end of the live stream to do that. And let me make a little mental note that if we do get to the end of the live stream and we hit this likes goal, then we'll have a little look at Hero, because I think Mike requested that with a donation as well earlier. So we'll play that at the end of this live stream and give you guys a chance to type that after we've done this week's and today's pick roulette. So good luck to everybody later for that, and stay tuned. So don't type I agree more than once when we get after the pick roulette, because we haven't got there yet. So let me just have a little look. It looks like, because it's 25 to 1 here in the morning already, we have a couple of pictures to get through. And thank you, Vince, for those. I did just grab the one from Paul with his CD just before we went live, and I just managed to upload it to my software. It takes a little bit of a while for it to upload to my software, but I did get it done. So we'll be looking at Paul a little bit later on. And I think Nalita uploaded a picture as well, which we'll look at later on. So thank you for that, Vince. And I can just see that there's been another couple of donations in the super chat window. Thank you guys for these donations. They are much appreciated. And it is Desi who has donated $20. Thank you for that, Desi. And the message is, Phil, I'm on the air and gave you a shout out. Is your eye all right? With some rock horns and a heart. So thank you for that, Desi, and for the shout out. Yes, well, my eye is okay. So this is quite a long story. Well, it's not really, but I'll tell you it. On Sunday, my dad, he plays five-a-side football. And I used to play football, but I don't play football anymore. I'm just too busy doing lots of other things. And he plays early in the morning on Sunday mornings, and as you guys know, I do a live stream on Saturday nights, and then I'm generally up till about 5:30 doing the emails and comments and all that kind of stuff after the live stream, because I've mentioned this on the last live stream. When I do a live stream, obviously I'm streaming, so I can't be doing the comments and the emails and everything that is coming in while I am streaming. So anyway, it means that I get to bed very late on a Saturday night / Sunday morning. So my dad woke me up on Sunday morning. I've pretty much just gone to bed, and then he woke me up and said, can you play football? Because we haven't got enough players and they were missing one. And of course, initially I said, well, I didn't say no. I said, yeah, all right. So I woke up very, very confused because I'd just gone to bed, but I woke up a little bit dazed and got changed for football and played an hour's worth of football, which is not wise because I haven't played probably in about 4 or 5 years. And sod's law, the ball, I shot the ball against a defender, and it hit him on his foot, like exactly on the hardest part of his foot, and ricocheted back into my face, and it hit me in the eye. So this is why I had, it's right on my eyelid. Fortunately, my eyes were closed at the time, so I had just a split second time to react before it smacking me in the face, and that's why the top of my eyelid is bruised. But fortunately my eye was closed, because otherwise it could have been even worse, that I could have damaged my eye. But yes, so this is why I had a little bit of swelling on Sunday, and then for the Sunday evening video it still wasn't too bad, but now it's gone a bit purple. I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to go away. So yeah, I haven't applied any makeup or eyeliner. It's just bruising from getting hit by a football. And sure enough, on Monday, so this is yesterday, my legs were aching so much that I could hardly walk down the stairs, and they are still aching a little bit now. So yeah, that was not a very good idea to play an hour's worth of football. But I have been exercising a little bit more recently, but I've only been doing resistance training and no cardio, so that definitely was a shock to my system, especially when I got hit in the face and hit in the eye by the ball. But at least it means I must have kicked it quite hard, so it must have been quite a good shot to then ricochet back up into my face with such force. So thank you for that, Desi. And yeah, as I said, it probably was quite a long story in the end, but thank you for noticing and asking about it. And we've had another donation that has come in from Cats in Hats, S Crouching Tiger. So thank you for that, and it's for $5.49. Oh no, it's €5.49. Is that what they have in euros? I'm not sure. But thank you for that donation. And the message is, hi Phil, do you give names to your guitars? With a smiley face, a winky face, and some hearts. So thank you for that. And this is a question that's come up before. No, I don't give my guitars names. I just call them what they are. Like the Steve Vai signature gem that Mario sent to me, the Fender Telly, the Fender Strat, the Fender Performance Strat, the Performer Strat. Technically, to give it its full name. But yeah, the I've got a Tanglewood in my bedroom as well. That's a Tanglewood Nevada. So yeah, I just tend to call them what they are. I'm not really into naming guitars. So yeah, it gets a little bit complicated because I've got enough names to remember already, especially on these live streams where some of you guys have got alter egos and you've got different names to your actual names. So yeah, if I started naming my guitars, I would be really confused. But thank you so much for that donation and the question. And the message is, there's another donation that's coming from Bob Bod for £5. Thank you for that. And the message is, when will you do a cover of Lightning Seeds? It's Coming Home. So thank you for that. And unfortunately, I don't have time to do any covers at the moment, just keeping up with everything, but that certainly would be an apt cover to be doing at the moment. And I think pretty much everyone is singing that song here, It's Coming Home. This is the song that was released for Euro 96 with England, and everyone's singing it, and yeah, especially in the stands. So it's great to hear that. I think it's one of those songs that whenever England are in a big competition, everyone sings It's Coming Home. But I don't have, well, even if I had plans to do a cover, I wouldn't have time to do it anyway. Unfortunately, I'm just keeping up with everything on the channel, and I mean, it's great as well that I'm getting so many more messages and people are subscribing. And just to point out that on Sunday, I think it was, I did the analysis video on Glenn Campbell, and I think that video has had over 20,000 views, so it's really taken off, which is great. And it had, I think, about 10,000 views overnight or within 24 hours. So yeah, a lot more messages, and whenever there's a lot of views on a particular video, the next day, in the next couple of days, I'll get a vast increase in emails and messages through my website, as well as comments on YouTube. So it's just a case of keeping up with all of that. But I do try, and I am succeeding, fingers crossed at the moment, touch wood, in keeping up with everything on a day-to-day basis. That is really my mission, my goal for every day, is just to keep up and yeah, Unfortunately, I'm doing that at the moment. But thank you, Bod, for that £5 donation. So we are going to be jumping into the cover now, and I can see that the cover is going to be Don't Stop Believin by Journey, at least my version of it. So let me just click on the window. I'm going to move it down a little bit because it now gives me the option to end the poll, which I've just clicked on. So thank you everyone for voting on that poll, and I'm not sure, I think it does say at some point how many people voted in the poll. I think last time was maybe 170 people, something like that. So let's have a little look. 186 votes for tonight's poll. So thank you guys for getting involved with that, and we can see that again. I think YouTube has a little bit of problem doing its adding up, but it says 59% was for Don't Stop Believin, and then 40% was Broken Wings. So it should technically be 60-40, but thank you guys for voting. Let's get this up on screen, and I hope you guys enjoy my version of Don't Stop Believin, and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
Small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere. Smoky room, the smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. Their shadows searching in the night. To find him
so much for watching my cover of Don't Stop Believin by Journey. The names you can see here are my patrons. Hi patrons, thanks so much for your support and for making videos like this possible. If you want to get involved yourself and if you want to talk to me and maybe suggest some other songs that I can cover, head to this website down here, patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. And if I don't see you on Patreon, I will see you at the next video. Have a great day. Rock. And there we have it. That was my version of the classic Journey track, Don't Stop Believin'. And thank you for voting for that in that poll. And a little bit later on, we might have another video, like I said, with Mike. I'm just looking at the time. It's 10 to 1 here in the morning. So what we'll do, I always forget about pictures. So let's make an effort to try and do the pictures now so that I don't forget them, because sometimes you guys are all calling out in the live chat room saying don't forget the pictures. So we're going to be doing the pictures now. Let me get the background up on screen, and I have to go to a different place in order to find all of this stuff. And oh, that's not the background, but well, that almost looks like it is me up on screen. Well, it's like changed into not me. This is actually Nolita's grandson. I'm still in the background. Maybe I could give him arms. It kind of looks like he's got long arms now. Maybe do some peace signs. But anyway, yes, so this is Nolita's grandson, and I think it's pronounced Zario. So thank you so much, Nolita, for uploading this picture. And it looks like the background has now been set to Zario. So it's interesting that the software has decided to do this for tonight. So now you can still see my arm, because now let me see what happens if I remove that again. I now appear and it's back to normal. So thank you for that, Lita. And this is the great thing about the live streams. Anything can happen, and it usually does. So let's see what happens with Paul, because now it should be the case that Paul comes up on screen in front of me. And it has done. So this is just one of those glitches that has happened. For some reason, it's not loading the background. It's now loading pictures instead of the background. So here we have Paul. So thank you, Paul, for uploading this picture. And as we can see, Paul's not only got his bass out, but he's also got his Wings of Pegasus signed album there. So thank you, Paul, so much for ordering that. And if you want to pick yourselves up a Wings of Pegasus album, then you can do. Let me see if I can get the website to go on top of all of this. And that is still working. So we're getting a little bit fancy, even though there's a bit of a glitch in the system. So thank you for that, Paul. And head over to wingsofpegasus.com/music if you want to go straight to where the albums are, the signed albums, the downloads, if you want to get the tracks independently as well. And you can pick them up, or pick up the album and the tracks at iTunes and Amazon, but it's better for me if you go to my website, because then I don't have to give away a percentage. So thank you, guys. We did get to those pictures very quickly, just without the background, and I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to then fix that for next time. But if that isn't, I don't know how that is saying I don't know how Zario has turned into the background, because it's labeled as background, but then when I click on the background, it's Zario that comes up. So, and by the way, it was the pint glass. Let me get Zario up on screen again, just to show him holding the pint glass. There is the Wings of Pegasus pint glass. So thank you for uploading that, Nolita. And this is going to be really interesting now for the rest of the live stream, because if that's now the background, what are we going to do for the pick roulette? Because it means that the background doesn't exist. So maybe the pick roulette wheel is going to be in front of my face as well. So this, I mean, where are we with the time? It's 53 minutes past. I'm going to try and scroll through to see if I can find a way to do this. And I'm probably not going to be able to find a way to do this. I tell you what, brace yourselves for potentially this whole stream freezing, because I'm going to try and edit the software while we are live. And I haven't really got anything that we can cut to because it's just going to pause everything. So this might be the case that I now disappear for a while. And I'm going to drag that over there, and I've probably already frozen, maybe not, but I know I definitely will freeze. I'm going to cross my fingers to hope that this works, and let's see. I'm going to keep talking while it's loading. Is it still working? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Okay, right, this is the test. And we are back. We're not actually back. I've just been into the software to try and reload up the background within the software. So I don't know why this is now not working. But anyway, so that is fine. And we're going to move into the pick roulette. And fingers crossed that this is going to work. It's live. I mean, you can tell that it's definitely live because these kind of things can happen. So let's jump into the pick roulette for Tuesday night. Hopefully all the buttons are still going to work. Fingers crossed. Just before we do jump into that, Orlando has donated $2. Thank you for that, Orlando. Again, the message is don't stop believing. Spike the likes with lots of thumbs up. So great idea. Hit that thumbs up if you do get a chance. We are at 239. And we're looking for 270, so we're looking for another 31 likes, I do believe. Just doing the maths in my head, it's not my strong point. But yeah, 31 more people we're looking for in that live chat room to hit that thumbs up if you can. If you haven't used that thumbs up, it would be much appreciated to get ourselves another pick roulette next week. But we're about to do it now, and we'll see if it all works. So fingers crossed it will, and I'll see you guys in a second. Rock! So the background is up on screen. That is a good start. Let's see if the pick roulette wheel comes up on screen. It does. So the pick roulette is okay. We've just about salvaged it for tonight. So as you can see on the wheel tonight, we have doubled up the t-shirt roulette. So there's now 2 potential chances for landing on that t-shirt roulette, where we then spin another wheel and you guys can win a custom t-shirt as made by Carla and sent out by Carla as well, who sends out the picks. So a huge thank you to Carla for this. And we're going to go through the normal process of shuffling the names 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to spin it in a second. But just to let you guys know, if this is your first live stream and you haven't seen the pick roulette wheel before, what happens is if we hit our pick roulette likes goal for the live stream, it means that the week after that, we have a pick roulette. And in order to get your name on that pick roulette, you have to wait till after the pick roulette previously and just type I agree in the chat room, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. I do it every live stream if we do hit that target, in order to show you guys how to tag Carla or what to type in there, so then you can get your names on the next pick roulette wheel for the next week. But anyway, this is this week, and I'm going to choose Susie Q that just went through. So Susie Q, there's my little arrow on the name. That's my top tip for tonight to win. And let's give it a spin and see who is going to win. So good luck everybody on the wheel tonight. And I've never picked the right name before, so maybe tonight, I mean, it could be my lucky night because England won, which is good. We're looking for Susie Q going. Oh no, Susie Q's going through. It was quite close, but not quite close enough. And we've got Jeannie going through. Laurie. Oh, and it's going to be Chris. Is it going to get as far as Myra? And it is Myra. So congratulations to Myra for winning the pick roulette tonight. And if you are in the live chat room, if you could let yourself be known to Carla in there, so then we can organise everything and get it all sent off to you, the Wings of Pegasus signed pick. So congratulations to Myra, commiserations to everybody else, but keep on hitting that thumbs up, because then you can get another chance to win on Tuesday, and if you tune in on Saturdays as well, then you can double your chances to win by entering on the pick roulette if we hit the likes goals on Saturdays as well. So congratulations to Myra, and let yourself be known in that live chat room. And we almost had it landing on our moderator Laurie, and I just want to mention a huge thing that I've heard on the grapevine for today and tonight. Here in the UK, technically, it's actually the next day, but over in the USA, it is Laurie's birthday. So everybody say a huge happy birthday to Laurie in that live chat room. And I hope you have a fantastic day, Laurie. Thank you for doing such a great job in the live chat room, being a moderator for so long, and that goes for all of you guys who moderate in there. We have Lynn in there, who's the newest deputy on the scene, and also Carla, who does the pick roulette and everything to do with that. So thank you, Carla, for that. And also Neil in there and Laurie. So thank you guys so much for all of the effort that you put in and the live chat room, keeping it such a great place to be. And thank you everyone for tuning in to these live streams and joining the community. Also joining the community over on Facebook, because if you do use Facebook and you want to hang out with these guys between the live streams, then you can do. Head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group on Facebook, and if you just search for that, you should be able to find it in the results. If you just search for that in the search bar over on Facebook, you'll find it. Wings of Pegasus supporters group is what you want to type in there. But thank you everyone for tuning into these live streams, hitting that thumbs up as well. And it looks like we're looking for 12 more people to hit that thumbs up to hit our target for next week's pick roulette likes. Goal is 270, but to have that pick roulette next week, we are just 12 away. So keep on hitting that thumbs up if at all possible. So I know that there have been a couple of donations in the PayPal window as well. So thank you guys for these. And let me just get that up on screen, because Karen has donated £2.77. Thank you for that. And the message is, Phil, I missed a week of your music and overall positivity that you bring to your live streams. I can't help but think that your squeaky chair could be a song idea. Forgive me for my bad joke, please. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that, Karen, and you are forgiven for that. Maybe some kind of novelty song or a parody of, I don't know what there could be a parody of. But yeah, there could be a squeaky chair song in the future. Not by me, I don't think it really suits my style. But yeah, maybe some kind of novelty song. But thank you, Karen, for that. I'm just going to scroll up because Renee has donated £5 as well. Thank you for that, Renee. And the message is, hi Phil, have you heard Steve Stevens' 1989 Atomic Playboys album? And I'm just going to scroll down so you guys can see this. I think you'd love the 80s sound of it, and I can totally see you covering those songs. He's got 2 other solo albums as well. So thank you for that, Renee. And this, I mean, Steve Stevens is one of those guys that I'm a big fan of his playing, but his overall approach to playing the guitar in terms of the way that he just plays his own way, and some of the riffs that he comes up with, which takes so much working out, because sometimes it does sound like 2 guitars playing at once. But Steve Stevens is one of those who's lined up for the Under the Spotlight series on this channel, so keep an eye out for that. And I've been talking to Steve recently over on Instagram, but also through emails, and he's just moved house, so he's taking a little bit of time to get everything ready, as I didn't mention in another live stream recently. But yeah, he's going to be getting a solo down for the Under the Spotlight series, so really looking forward to that, because I am a huge fan of his playing, as I said, and yeah, especially his solo stuff as well. And like Renee says here, 1989 Atomic Playboys, and it is, I'm really into the, well, you can tell from my hair and my own music, I'm really into that classic 80s sound. So I haven't thought about covering any of the songs from that particular album, but I think in the future is certainly something that falls within my preference and my choices maybe that I'd go to in the future, but I haven't thought about really covering any of Steve Stevens' solo stuff yet, but it could be something that I could do in the future. I just need a little bit more time, as I've always said. Getting back to the cover videos, I say that when I have less time, I'll get back to it. It's just keeping up with everything. But it's great that with Steve, being such a fan of his playing, to then actually be able to talk to him and get him on the channel and for him to do a solo for us, it's just amazing to be in that position. So it is great to be able to chat with Steve and potentially feature him on the channel and for him just to play for us, which is amazing. But thank you, Renee, for that donation. And the message has come in from Beth in the super chat window, so let me just address that. And it's $5 donation, so thank you for that. The message is, Phil, question answered, laugh out loud, timed out, many emojis with the smiley faces. So thank you for that, Beth. And I'm just going to scroll up. Maybe there's a question that Beth was going to ask that I did already answer. So thank you for that donation. Orlando has donated £1. Thank you for that, Orlando. Again, the message is, I had the pleasure of taking my parents to Atlantic City to see Frankie Valli and his Four Seasons perform. It was memorable. He was well past 80 at the time. Amazing, with some applause there. So thank you for that, Orlando. And like we said, yeah, I mean, Frankie's just ageless, keeps on performing, well into his 80s now. So just amazing stuff to keep his voice in that kind of shape, because it is so difficult as you do age. But Frankie seems to be just drinking from a fountain of youth, it seems. But thank you for that, Orlando. And Joan has donated £50. Thank you for that, Joan. Very kind donation. And the message is, keep away from footballs and golf carts with a laughing face. So thank you for that, Joan. And the thing is that I can at least blame my dad for the football, because I wouldn't have even been there unless he'd asked me to play, because he was a player short. So yeah, that's just something that can happen with football. I'm always quite careful of my hands. I never, or at least I try not to go in goal too much if I am playing football, just because I can just imagine someone shooting the ball and it hitting my fingers in a really painful way, and then I can't play guitar, which means that my analysis videos would be a bit of a nightmare. And that's what happened with the golf cart, when I squashed my finger on my left hand and I couldn't play for maybe a few days, maybe a week, until it recovered a bit. So yeah, I try and be really careful, but I suppose just getting hit in the face isn't too bad, because even if I'm hit in the face, I can still play guitar. So yeah, it's not too bad. But yeah, not ideal getting hit in the face, especially early in the morning when I should be trying to sleep. Anyway, but thank you for that, Joan. Very kind donation. And Susan has donated £17.28. Thank you for that, Susan. And that is a straight up donation as well. And just to scroll up as well, that Laura has donated £5 as well. So thank you for that. It does say that it's one of those pending ones. So thank you for that, Laura. And I think that just takes a little bit of time to then get through once PayPal get through it all. But yeah, there's a long message there through at the bottom, but I'm not going to read through all that now. Thank you for that, Laura. I mean, it's a message from PayPal, not from Laura. It's just a straight up donation. So thank you for that. And Beth has donated £3.46. Thank you for that, Beth. And the message is, laugh out loud, just wondering why I was placed on timeout. Was I a bad girl? So thank you for that, Beth. And I do not know about the timeouts and all that kind of stuff. I do know that sometimes with the moderators and trying to click, because the buttons are really close together, it has happened in the past that someone, or maybe more than one person, has been timed out accidentally because of the buttons being close together. So it might be the case that that's happened, where YouTube hold a comment for review because YouTube think it might be something that's suspicious. I don't know how YouTube decide that, but then the timeout thing is really close to then allowing it or not allowing it. So it might have just been a mistake. So thank you for that, Beth. And the timeout must, I don't know exactly what it was. Maybe Carla can explain, or one of the moderators in there. I know that Lynn's in there tonight as well. I'll keep an eye out for the moderators, but it is Laurie's birthday tonight as well, so I'm sure that she's off doing things a little bit more suitable for her birthday rather than spending it at a live stream. So happy birthday again, Laurie, and if you're watching this on catch up as well, hope that you're having you've had a great time if you're watching this on catch up, because all the good times must have already happened. But Laurie is in the house. I do believe that I can see her name right at the bottom of the list there, so Laurie is coming through, and I hope you're having a great day. And yeah, thank you for joining us on the live stream on your birthday and for moderating, because technically it's kind of working. And yeah, so Laurie is working on her birthday. Everybody say a huge thank you to Laurie for doing such a great job, and also for joining us on the live stream. I'm just reading Laurie's comment here, because too many emojis get flagged by YouTube. Okay, so it seems like if you do lots of emojis, which are the little pictures, then they get flagged by YouTube. So that's maybe why the timeout happened. It was a YouTube thing and not a moderator thing, because that sometimes can happen. I have actually seen that in the live chat room where it's been greyed out because YouTube is moderating itself, and that is something that I've seen in the live chat room, that YouTube have hidden a comment because it's moderated it itself by the YouTube moderators, and I don't know whether that's where there's one or more, but it's only happened once, I think, before. But anyway, thank you for clarifying that, Laurie. And that's what Beth must have been alluding to in that super chat donation, so thank you for that. But hopefully we've cleaned that up. And Carl has donated $2.99. Thank you for that, Carl. The message is for some WD-40 for their chair. So thank you for that. And I do have some WD-40. I just need probably more like a wrench or something to tighten up the nuts and bolts to make it just squeak a little bit less. But thank you for that, Carl. Just jumping into the PayPal window as well, because Lynn has donated a very kind £123.45. So thank you so much for that, Lynn. And the message is, if I had a magic wand, I grant a wish to Laurie Pond. Happy birthday to Laurie. So thank you for that message, Lynn, and for those very kind words over to Laurie. And Laurie can wish for something. Maybe type that wish in the live chat room and we'll see what Laurie is going to be wishing for today on her birthday. But thank you, Lynn, so much for that very kind donation and the message to Laurie as well. And Lucy has just donated £3.75. Thank you for that, Lucy. I'm just going to scroll down. It's taking a little bit of a time for me to see the message, but the message is, howdy Phil, fellow wingers and new wingers, how's about a Phil tune? Please spike the likes, buy the cool merch, and join the Wings of Pegasus supporters page with some rock horns, a heart, and peace. So thank you for that, Lucy. And it's 1:10 here in the morning already, so I'm not sure we're going to have time to do a Phil tune, because what we might do is have a little look at or listen to Hero just while I give you guys the last opportunity to type I agree in that live chat room. And let me just type that just to give you guys an example of what we're going to be putting in order to get your name on next week's Pick Roulette wheel, because we have just hit 300 likes. So it's definitely going to be happening next week. So type at Carla, and then Carla Murray's name comes up. So you click on it and then type after that, I agree. I always put lots of exclamation marks in there just to make it stand out. So, I've done a double at, but it still worked, I think, hopefully. So that's what you want to type, is at Carla Murray, and then I agree in the live chat room, because we are going to be taking a listen, having a listen to my song called Hero, while I give you guys a little bit of a chance to do that. Patricia has donated £4 as well. Thank you for that, Patricia. And the message is, hello Phil, I know we're always asking you to cover songs, too bad you have no time. Is there any song you've never covered that you would really like to cover? either because it's a favourite you'd like the challenge. So thank you for that. And I'm not sure, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I really, well, I guess one that would be a real challenge would be More Than a Feeling by Boston. That's probably one of those songs that's right up there on my personal favourite list to listen to. Whether it's going to be something that I cover in the future, I don't know. Whether it will even be possible. But I guess maybe one day I might attempt it. So, I mean, that would definitely be a challenge. So that's probably one that I'd have to pick out of the air in terms of one that could be a potential one in the future. Obviously, I haven't got time to do it at the moment, but I would probably say Boston More Than a Feeling for a real challenge. I mean, that, yeah, would be a ridiculous challenge to try and play all of the instruments and do all of the vocals for that one. But let's scroll up because Sue has donated £20 as well. Thank you for that, Sue, and it is a straight up donation. So thank you for that. And again, Linda Z has donated £5. Thank you for that, Linda. And the message is, so what time did you finally get to bed after your football game? Was it hard to get back to sleep after all that exercise and unfortunate injury? So thank you for that, Linda Z. And I mean, the injury didn't stop me from playing. It was just a bit painful, so we had to stop playing for a little bit of time so that I could make sure that it wasn't a bad injury, but it wasn't. It just was a bit painful. I think what happens is the ball was spinning as well as hitting me in the face, so it like burnt my eyelid. That's probably what happens, because then when I put water on it, it was really stingy, really painful. So yeah, but I didn't go to bed after the football game, and I stayed up for the whole day. Did the analysis video on Glenn Campbell, which I started probably at about 4:30 in the afternoon, and then I went through till my normal time of uploading about 2 a.m. It might have been a little bit later than that, maybe 2:30, and then I did the messages and the emails for the day as well, so I got to bed at 5:30 again. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird one because I thought I would maybe collapse during the day or go to sleep having not really slept and then played football, but I managed to make it all the way through without sleeping during the day. But I think it's because I was doing an analysis video. As soon as I started that about 4:30, then I just got into the routine. My body knows that from 4:30 till about 2 a.m, I'm just doing a video, and then after that, I just get everything done, and then about 5:30, I pretty much crashed out and then slept at that point. So yes, I didn't sleep. So yes, I didn't sleep, but yes, I did think that I would need to sleep. But anyway, thank you for that, Linda Z. And Pam has donated $19.99 as well. Thank you for that, Pam. And message is, thanks for being you, with the guy looking at in the mirror at himself. So thank you for that, Pam. And let's just jump into this final call for I Agree in that live chat room to get yourselves on the Pick Roulette Roulette wheel for next week, having hit the likes target tonight. So let's jump into Hero. I hope you guys enjoy this. Last chance, because after this video, we're going to be calling the live stream to a close, but make sure you type it in there now before we end. But I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you guys after. Rock! And there we have it. That was my song called Hero, and that's from my album called Persistence. As I mentioned earlier, you can head over to wingsofpegasus.com/music if you want to get to the album and the songs. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Just to finish up with a couple more donations that have come in. JPRPH1 has donated $2.99. So thank you for that. And it's the guy doing the big thumbs up. So thank you for that. And Brian has donated £13.83 in the PayPal window, so thank you for that, Brian. And it is a straight up donation as well. And let me just scroll down to make sure that we got through. Yeah, it was Linda Z that donated before that, so we did get through all of those. Thank you for all of the donations tonight in the Super Chat window and the PayPal donations window as well. It is massively appreciated, and means that I can just keep moving forward with everything and buy any software, any plugins that I need for the computer in order to keep everything going. Hard drives as well. I always say about getting through so many hard drives with the analysis videos and all of the editing. What I actually do with the analysis videos is I do obviously record all of the raw files of me watching the video, and I do talk for quite a long time, so I try and cut it down usually to about 15 or 20 minutes, but I haven't actually spoken for an hour and a half before, believe it or not. So this is why it takes a long time for me to edit it together as well. But once I've got the video and that's saved on the hard drive, and the raw file is saved on the hard drive as well, it then gets rendered, and then I effectively then bounce it. I always say I bounce it because that's a term that comes from music and from Logic Pro. So yeah, Logic Pro 10, by the way, if you want to know, that's what I use. But with Final Cut Pro 10, yeah, that's now putting for each video. I have the raw file, I have the video file, which is usually about 2 to 3 gigabytes, and then I have the compressed file, which means that I can then upload it to YouTube a little bit faster because it would take ages to upload 3 gigabytes. I then compress it down to 500 megabytes. So I've got like 3 quite big files for every video. So when I'm doing lots of videos, as you can imagine, those hard drives get filled up pretty quickly. So yeah, all of these donations make a huge difference because it means that rather than having to stop doing videos and having to delete other videos in order to upload new videos, I can just keep on going and keep on filling up these hard drives. So it's great that there's pretty much nothing in the way. Unless it's a real disaster, there's nothing that can too much get in the way from us live streaming. And of course, paying for the internet, that's something that's essential for live streaming and uploading videos. So you guys and all the donations, all the support over on Patreon, like I said, it's the foundation of the channel. So being able to pay for a more reliable internet is all from the donations. So thank you guys so much. And you guys who have been here a long time will know about the old live streams that I used to do and how they would cut out regularly because I couldn't get a decent service provider and I was stuck with another service provider. It's easy for me to say, but yeah, so it just makes it more reliable. And maybe you guys that have been here for quite a long time, you've noticed the gradual improvement in everything in the live streams, the connectivity, but also the analysis videos, being able to now play the guitar, have that connected at the same time as being able to talk, because I couldn't do that previously either. So thank you guys so much for all of your support, the donations. And just to mention that quickly, we've had another donation from Orlando right at the end, and the message is, I'm making my lunch for work tonight. Sorry for not being active toward the end. Have a great one. Rock. Have a great one, everybody. Rock with some rock horns. So thank you for that. Let me just show you guys that message so you can see it. And also Jeff has donated $5 in the super chat window as well. So thank you for that, Jeff, and it is a straight up donation. So thank you guys for all of the donations. We're going to be calling it to a close now, and this is the end for typing I agree, unfortunately. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I hope that you had a good live stream, that you've enjoyed it, and I certainly have. It's always great to just connect with you guys in a live setting on the channel. Huge final happy birthday to Laurie for today. I hope you have a fantastic day and evening, and that you get whatever you want and whatever you have asked people for and whatever you have wished for, because as you saw earlier, we were granted an extra wish. So thank you for that message as well from Lynn earlier on, and Laurie, and all the messages today. And I did say it is tough for me to have a little bit of an eye into the live chat room, because I'm looking at lots of things on the screen. I've got the software, I've got 4 internet pages opened up for obviously the super chats and the pick roulette, the comments, the feed from my software, the buttons, the interface from my software, the emails, and the PayPal window. So I am looking at a lot of things at one time. So yeah, keeping on top of it is very difficult, and looking into the live chat room, I can only do that very occasionally. So yeah, if you do post questions in there, sometimes I do catch one now and again, but when it is a jam-packed live stream like tonight has been, I've basically been chatting for the whole thing, and we've been going from one video into the pick roulette, into the pictures, then into another video for you guys to type I agree. So yeah, it's been another full-on live stream, but another enjoyable one, and thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm going to be back with another video tomorrow night, another analysis video, and then another one on Friday night, and I'm going to be back live streaming on Saturday. So tune in on Saturday again if you want to have another chance of winning the pick roulette. And congratulations to Myra tonight for winning the pick roulette. And if you want to join me again next week to see your name on that wheel, if you typed I agree, it will be on there. So thank you for typing that. We're going to be calling it to a close now, so stay as safe as possible. Wear your masks if that's what your government is guiding you to do. Keep your distance, all of that kind of stuff. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and thank you for joining me tonight, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!